Welcome back to the channel. This was an unprompted video I had to make today. I woke up an hour ago, as if you can't tell. I woke up an hour ago. And I woke up to the news of Union Pacific absorbing Norfolk Southern, or at least they're now in the process of doing so. I have some strong opinions about it, which I'm going to spare you all from. A lot of it's bad, but I'm also cautiously optimistic because it's not fully a bad thing for either party here. At least I don't think. My problem is that bigger is not always better, right? And we'll get into that shortly. I want to explain the situation before we go any further. Norfolk Southern is known by everybody here. We know this for a fact. They're known to be good at shooting themselves in the foot. Very well known for that. They do a lot of questionable choices for their railroad, they always have. But the only reason they were still afloat was because they were needed here. Now, needed is a big stretch, of course, but I would say that it's a need for industry more so than anything. Now, when I first learned about this merger possibly taking place, I was all against it because in my mind, that's not a good thing in any form. And I still think that slightly. I still think this is a Penn Central situation, but I'm still cautiously optimistic because when you look at the side of Union Pacific, they're very efficient when it comes to managing stuff like this. Very, very efficient. They are probably the most efficient railway here in the US, if not always have been. And as someone who's stuck on the East Coast and will stay East Coast forever, I can't deny that. They are one of the most efficient railways here in the US, and they always have been. Um, my concern for them is that they may be taking too big of a bite. Not saying they can't do it, but I'm also saying that's a lot to take care of for one railway. That is literally coast to coast. That is the first transcontinental railway ever. Okay. That's a lot of stuff to take care of for one railway, no matter how efficient they are. I don't care who you are. That is a lot of stuff to take care of. Okay. I'm not saying it's impossible for them, but it'll be very difficult, at least in the beginning. And the reason I think that is because Norfolk Southern has half baked equipment compared to Union Pacific. When it comes to acquiring that, Norfolk Southern's not the best player for equipment by any standard. They're probably one of the worst with CSX trailing right behind them. Um, of course, I can't vouch for any of these railways because I don't know much of the internal stuff going on here. More so, I'm just the N&W guy that does N&W stuff and talks about that. You all know that. I can't vouch for any of this. I can't confirm or deny this or that. I'm just speaking out of my yapper here. I'm just saying what I think is going on right now. I'm taking my personal take on it, see what's going on. I could be wrong. I could be right. I don't know. We don't know. This happened an hour ago, if not a few hours ago this morning. So I don't know. But at least by the time I'm recording this happened a few hours ago. I have no idea. But I'm just yapping the yap. I don't like it, but I'm willing to be cautiously optimistic about it because I know for a fact that there's one railway that can pull that off. It's Union Pacific for sure. Hands down, they are the one that can do it. My question is why? Why should you do it? What was the point to do it? That's my question. And that's a question I may not get answered anytime soon. I just, in my autistic brain, I can't fully understand why they would do that entirely. You get what I mean? Like, I get it. Norfolk Southern has always been in a bad position, at least, especially as of recently. They kind of keep shooting themselves in the foot over and over again. It doesn't get any better. I get it. But, and I knew eventually that something was going to happen to them if they kept it up. Eventually, I knew something was going to happen. Excuse me. But I didn't think it would be Union Pacific that would take the cake. Let's just be real blunt here. I didn't think that would happen. I figured an entire new railway would be merged out of Norfolk Southern and become something different that took over Norfolk Southern. But I didn't think it would be Union Pacific taking them over. I'm not a big UP fan just because East is best, and y'all can hate me for that all you want. I don't care. I just don't like it. I don't like out there too much. But at the same time, we're in a era of railways being kind of backburned at the moment. Norfolk Southern CSX, I'll admit, are not in the best of positions. Norfolk Southern especially was not in the best of position. CSX you can take or leave because of all the hurricane damage they've had to deal with over the past few months and all the storms and whatnot, wiping out some of their stuff. I mean, you can take that or leave it for CSX. When it comes to Norfolk Southern, they're actively shooting themselves in the foot constantly. So I'm not surprised that this went through. That doesn't mean I'm excited for it, but you know, it's most likely going to happen. I mean, it's going to go through for the most part. If UP and NS got this far, it's most likely going to go through. And I wouldn't mind having a transcontinental railway. No, I don't. I'm not saying I don't want that. I mean, that sounds awesome. Don't get me wrong. That sounds freaking cool as shit. But like, you know, you, you could have waited to announce it after I woke up and had my morning Mountain Dew at least. Okay. I mean, damn guys, come on. But you may be asking, what does this mean for the East Coast team that's under Norfolk Southern? That's a good question, and that's a question I don't have a solid 1,000% answer to, but I do have some theories on how that could play out. Um, my first initial theory, and most likely what's going to happen, is that nothing really is going to change. 611 will go to her fall excursions and go back to VMT. 765 will do what it's always done, and not much will really change from what it is now, basically. That's what I expect to happen for the most part. Speculation's always in the air, and this other theory is going to be a lot of speculation. Union Pacific likes Steam more so than Railway because they own their own. Um, my guess is that they're going to be working with other steam locomotives like 765 and 611 and whatever the hell else to get it mainline worthy. I mean, it may be that. I mean, that's a possibility. I don't have a lot of hope for that really. No, I don't care who you are, even with me being a big Steam nerd, I don't think that's the end game here. I do think it will stay the same for the most part as it is sitting right now. I think it'll stay the same. But um if it does go through for more mainline Steam here in the East Coast, great. I love that. I love going out to see mainline Steam. Hell yeah, I love that. I'm just right now with that. I'm not optimistic anything will change. Not at all. I don't think anything for the Steam side of stuff will change that much or preservation wise. I think it'll all just be under a new umbrella instead of it being Norfolk Southern, it's Union Pacific or whatever they're going to call themselves. I don't even know what they're going to call themselves. Um, but, it'll be under a new basically umbrella. That's all the difference. That's the only difference. But yeah, I woke up early to go do stuff, and then this hit me in the face, and I was like, "Well, I gotta do this video on it because people are gonna want it." So, impromptu video moments with Jonah or Steel. Hi, guys. How y'all doing? You doing good? That's good. Let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments. I wanna know what the general consensus is about this situation because I have my feelings about it, but I'm also cautiously optimistic, wondering like, "Huh, I could pull it off. Let's see what happens." So, I wanna know what y'all think. Let me know in the comments, please. I love that. I love interaction with you all. And, as always, sit back and enjoy the shit show as per usual. Um, that's all I've got today. I'm gonna go do the things I need to do, and, I'll see you later. Have fun.